Tell me if this describes you. You spent 3 hours last week in setting up an automation that was supposed to save your team time, only to watch it break the moment someone changed a single field in your CRM. I know this frustration because I've been there too, and I've watched it happen to countless teams who chase automation tools without first being honest about the actual workflow problems underneath. I fell for the exact same trap myself. In 2023, I spent 2 weeks setting up what I thought was the perfect workflow system, connecting Zapier to Notion to Slack to our CRM, convinced I was building something revolutionary. The marketing materials promised me self-optimizing systems that plan, execute, and adjust campaigns across channels in real time, and I believed every word. But the automation industry won't tell you in their glossy demos they're selling you a fantasy. They show polished screenshots of perfectly organized dashboards while completely ignoring the emotional chaos that's actually destroying your team's productivity. They promise you'll save hours every week without asking the brutal question that matters. Why are you drowning in manual work in the first place? The industry has turned predatory, preying on overwhelmed creators with shiny object syndrome. They know you're exhausted from juggling 15 different tools, so they sell you the 16th one as a solution. Every marketing message screams the same lie. More integrations, more triggers, more complexity wrapped in the promise of simplicity. The brands that win will be the ones who automate smarter, not simply automate more. Yet nobody's saying that. I've watched this pattern destroy teams over and over. They chase the latest automation tool because someone on LinkedIn posted a screenshot of their streamlined workflow, never questioning whether that person actually uses what they're promoting. The real tragedy isn't the wasted money or time. It's watching creative people lose confidence in their own judgment because they think the problem is them, not the fundamentally broken approach they've been sold. The truth is, most automation fails because it's built on quicksand. Teams that haven't done the uncomfortable emotional work of admitting what's actually broken in their process. But here's the truth I couldn't admit back then. I was automating workflows that were never clearly defined in the first place, and instead of simplifying work, automation was accelerating my existing inefficiencies. Every time someone on my team would ask, "Why did this workflow break again?" I'd blame the tools. Zapier was buggy. Our CRM wasn't playing nice. The API had changed, but the real problem was that I was using automation as emotional avoidance. I was terrified to sit down with my team and have the uncomfortable conversations about why our processes were actually broken. Why were we manually copying data between 3 different systems? Because we'd never agreed on a single source of truth. Why did our client onboarding take 2 weeks when it should take 2 days? Because nobody wanted to admit that half our steps were legacy bureaucracy from when we were a 2-person team. Tasks were moving faster through my beautiful automated system, but outcomes remained inconsistent, forcing us to intervene manually more than before. I was spending more time fixing automated outputs than I had ever spent doing the work manually. But instead of questioning my approach, I doubled down, convinced that the next integration, the next trigger, the next if this then that rule would finally solve everything. The automation industry feeds on this exact psychology. They know you're avoiding the hard conversations about accountability, ownership, and decision-making that actually need to happen before any tool can help you. Most projects stumble due to people-centric issues, unclear vision, poor process, lack of user adoption, and cultural resistance, rather than the technology itself. But it's so much easier to buy a subscription and tinker with workflows than to look your teammate in the eye and say, "Our process doesn't make sense, and we need to redesign it from scratch." The 1% who succeed at automation start with brutal honesty about their actual pain points, not with shopping for tools. Have you ever spent hours building what you thought was the perfect automation, only to watch it break the moment someone changed a single field? 70% of digital transformation initiatives still failed to meet their objectives in 2026. And I'd bet your automation was trying to fix a workflow that was never clearly defined in the first place. Comment your answer below. Now let's talk about the 1% who actually succeed and the brutal honesty they start with. The breakthrough moment happened 3 months into my failed automation experiment when I finally admitted something I'd been avoiding. I wasn't automating inefficient processes. I was automating the symptoms of deeper team dysfunction. I remember sitting in our team meeting, watching my beautiful automated workflow break for the 3rd time that week, when my project manager asked the question I'd been dreading: why are we copying the same client data into 3 different systems in the first place? The room went silent. We'd spent weeks perfecting the automation of a completely redundant process that existed only because nobody had ever questioned why we needed it. That's when I realized the uncomfortable truth. Most small teams fail at automation because they use technology to avoid the messy human work of actually fixing their processes. We'd rather spend hours building a Zapier integration than spend 20 minutes having an honest conversation about why our workflow makes no sense. The real blockers aren't technical. They're people-centric, unclear vision, poor process definition, lack of user adoption, and cultural resistance to admitting what's actually broken. The successful 1% do something completely different. They start with brutal honesty about what's actually broken. They don't ask, how can we automate this faster? They ask, why does this process drain our energy? They don't optimize the workflow. They question whether the workflow should exist at all. Before they touch a single automation tool, they sit down as a team and admit the uncomfortable truths about their actual pain points, not the ones that look good on a productivity blog. That conversation changed everything for us, but it took 3 months of failure and a broken automation system to force us into having it. After that painful conversation with my team, I realized something that completely changed how I think about automation. The successful 1% don't start by asking, what should we automate? They start by asking, what conversations are we avoiding? I spent the next month doing something I'd never done before, actually mapping out our existing workflows by sitting with each team member and watching them work. Not theoretically, not through a survey, but literally sitting there while they handled real tasks. What I discovered was humiliating. We had 3 different systems tracking the same client data because nobody wanted to have the awkward conversation about why some people preferred the CRM, why others insisted on their spreadsheet, and why our project manager had built her own tracking system in Notion. The real breakthrough came when I stopped trying to automate around these preferences and started asking why they existed. One person's CRM preference wasn't stubbornness. It was because the system actually tracked client communication history better than our official tool. Another person's spreadsheet wasn't old-fashioned resistance. It was because they needed to run calculations that our CRM couldn't handle. Instead of automating our broken process, we redesigned it based on what was actually working for each person. We kept the CRM for client communication, integrated the calculations into our main system, and eliminated the redundant tracking entirely. The automation we built after those conversations was completely different from my original vision. Simpler, less impressive, but it actually worked because it was built on honest acknowledgement of how we really operated, not how we thought we should operate. What actually changed everything for my team, and it's the uncomfortable truth that the 1% who succeed at automation understand from day one, was stopping the chase for tools and starting the harder work of honesty. We stopped asking, what should we automate? And started asking, what conversations are we avoiding about why our work drains us? I spent 3 months after our automation breakdown doing something I'd never done, conducting what I call emotional workflow audits with my team. Not productivity assessments or time tracking studies, emotional audits. I'd sit with each person and ask, show me the part of your day that makes you want to quit. Every single time, it wasn't the repetitive tasks they pointed to. It was the moments when they felt powerless, confused, or like their work didn't matter. The breakthrough came when I realized that successful automation isn't about eliminating human involvement. It's about eliminating human frustration. Instead of asking, how can we make this faster? We started asking, how can we make this feel better? That shift changed everything. We automated the parts of our workflow that made people feel powerless, not just the parts that took time. Start with this simple audit. For 1 week, Track not what takes you time, but what drains your energy. Write down every moment you feel frustrated, confused, or like you're fighting the system. Those emotional pain points, not your time logs, are your real automation opportunities. Ask yourself, which tasks make me doubt my competence? Which ones feel like I'm fighting broken systems instead of doing real work? Which ones leave me exhausted even though they're quick? The 1% who succeed at automation understand that technology should serve human dignity, not just human efficiency. You don't need permission to start small. You need permission to be honest. This emotional audit work isn't just philosophical. It's practical preparation for choosing the right automation tools. Once you understand which frustrations are actually worth solving, you'll need a platform that can handle thoughtful, human-centered automation rather than just connecting apps together. The tools you choose should support the dignity and clarity you've worked so hard to create, not undermine it with complexity or vendor lock-in. Start this emotional workflow audit today. Grab a notebook and track your energy drains for just 1 week. When you're ready to turn those insights into action, tools like N8N offer 400+ core integrations with 600+ community nodes and low-code model flexibility for teams ready to build thoughtful automations. The best way to adopt AI workflow automation is to start with high-volume, rule-heavy, and measurable workflows, prove ROI, and then scale automation across departments. Subscribe for more honest workflow wisdom and watch this next. It reveals the 3 questions that changed everything.